Javon Cole is one of your starters, but that number 2 cornerback spot is a position of interest. When you look at that battle and how it's going, what stands out to you?
Just the fact that the guys know and understand that there is an opportunity there, and I think they're all in attack mode. Really like where they are at this point in camp. And, some of the things and some of the guys have stood out, just the attention to detail, the effort, and the execution piece. Really a healthy and deep group, where that's concerned, and guys really competing for that spot.
All right, do you have an idea on who's going to be the number 2 guy, or is this something that's going to carry into the season?
I think it's too early to tell. I mean, there's a lot of camp left. I do know that there are, more than a few options that we have, for the position. There's a couple of guys that can, play all 5 spots, which we like. The likes of guys like, Traden Stukes last year, just the flexibility piece. The more you can do, the better, right? And so really like where we are in terms of what we have and those guys that can, really step in and play opposite. Javon.
Michael? Maybe a little less experience in the secondary, a lot of new pieces. Do you find yourself coaching a little differently than you did last year?
I wouldn't say that. I would say there, you coach different things at different times. I don't know what the numbers say in terms of experience versus unexperienced, but I would say, there are more guys that are coming in and wanting more help because it is new to them. Seeking more, or not seeking more time, but spending more time, right, in the offices, learning the verbiage and learning the scheme that way. But not necessarily coaching different, more attention to detail with a new group, still learning some of the guys that way. Obviously, having spring was a huge piece of it, but I would say more than anything, on their part, more guys spending more time in the building, trying to get familiar with everything.
Dwight, what do you think about his college football journey and his path to Arizona?
Great young man, who, started out at Nebraska, ended up at Charlotte, and is now here. He's a young man that is really eager to get the season going and his fresh new start. Really proud of who he's become since arriving here in the spring to now. I think Dwight is just starting to scratch the surface of who he could be, and we're really pleased with what he's done thus far in camp, but still a lot of work to be done that way. But really commend the young man and who he's become and accepting us and allowing us to coach him and develop him that way. But really excited for him and the things that could be this fall.
When you're evaluating players, when you look at his tape, what were some of the things that you noticed, whether it was from his time at Charlotte or Nebraska?
Just being honest, his time at Nebraska was really pivotal in us making the decision to go on him because the scheme is very similar, and a defensive coordinator in Tony White. So we knew he'd be familiar to the system, and that matters. A few coaches, and Coach Brengel and Coach Thompson, who also had some familiarity with the young man and could speak to his character and his off the field. And who he is off the field, just kind of expedited his process versus a young man that, you maybe didn't have any previous relationships with. But it's just his ability to obviously play within the scheme, play press, play off man, and make plays on the ball. And then for me, just a young man that when I had a conversation with him, he's hungry. He's hungry, and he was willing and ready to come in and work, and that was important to me, and replacing some of the pieces that we're replacing for the season.
Jason and Michael?
What are your thoughts on the younger guys like Zaire and Zuri?
They're fun, man. They're fun. I'm really excited about these guys being here. I think like anything, where there's growth, there's a lot of ebb and flow, there's a lot of growing pains, but these are young men that have made tremendous strides. It's really, really huge in Zaire Heiler being here this spring and learning how we do things, how we practice, what red line means. And then the guy in Zuri who is coming from, Howard, and for him, this is the big stage. But he's a guy that has not shied away from the competition and the standard that is in the room, and really, really excited about what those guys bring to the table, and really hope they get the opportunity to contribute, ultimately contribute this season.
Michael and then Justin.
What is your assessment of the kind of defensive backfield's progress overall at this point? Obviously, you have a lot of pieces to replace. 4 guys who were drafted, 5th guy who, had a pick 6 in his exhibition debut. How do you view just the overall unit's performance and progress so far?
I would say, we're nowhere where we want to be. The standard's really high in the room, right? And the guys know that, but we're in the middle of our process, and I would say the positive thing is that we're healthy, right? And we have guys that some days they're taking, anywhere from, all the reps to, the next day they may not be taking those reps for whatever reason. And so, we may see more rotation in the secondary this year than we've seen in years past. We may not. I think it's still early, still way too early to tell, but thus far, really, really happy and pleased with the progress of this unit as a whole. And like I said, I think we have more guys in this secondary that can do more for this team than what we had a year ago, and that's exciting.
Justin.
Speaking of the NFL guys, you recruited him a while back. What do you think of Michael Dansby and just his path to the NFL and what he's been able to do?
Oh, man, I love it. He's a young man that obviously I got to recruit out of high school. I've mentioned that before. But just overjoyed and really excited for the young man and his family at the opportunity that he has. Got to speak to him and after his first preseason game, and just told him, man, just keep working. Just keep working, continue to lean in on your process. But, man, couldn't be more proud of him and the things that he's been able to accomplish thus far. But very unique path, from San Jose to here, and going out the way that he did, really, really owe a lot to him and what we were able to do last year as a unit. But very, very proud of the young man.
One guy that's been getting some second-team reps is Griffin. I know he was banged up a lot last year. What was it like for you to see his path to get back on the field and now be in a position to finally make some plays?
Swade is a young man that has taken full advantage of what is in front of him. I think he knows and understands what's at stake in terms of this being, a year where we've brought in some new pieces and some guys that have played where he has not. And from special teams to defense, Swade is completely, fully leaned in on his process and what he needs to do to contribute to the team. And really, really proud of who he's become from spring to now. If I had to give someone an award for most improved, it'd be Swade Griffin. And I'm excited about what he can do because the kid can go. And obviously we know his background and the caliber, that is the Griffin family. But really excited about Swade Griffin and the opportunities that he'll have this year.
Jason.
What's next in the progression for Javon Cole, and how good do you see him becoming?
Sky's the limit. I have really, really high hopes and personal dreams for Javon and where his career can take him. He's a young man that, I said it over and over, he shows up every day, he's the same person. He works the same, and he understands what the process is and what he needs to do to be successful, both on and off the field. And I think he's a young man that can, you know, he can be all conference, anywhere from all conference to all American if he wants to be. You know, obviously staying healthy and being out there and making the plays when they present themselves will ultimately decide that. But he's a young man I couldn't be more proud of, the leadership role that he's taken within the room and on the defense and within our team. Really exciting to see how he's grown over the years as well.
We'll finish up with Justin.
Malcolm Hartzog is a guy that continues to step up in practice. What's it been like to watch him thrive at that slot cornerback spot?
It's awesome. You know, I think we all know it's not easy, not any easy feat replacing Traden Stukes. I'd say I'm pretty excited about the guy that we have in that spot this year, and that is all respect to Traden Stukes and the standard that he set. But you got a guy in Malcolm Hartzog who's, you know, played a ton of ball, and you know, he's looking to bounce back and make his own statement this year. And I couldn't be more excited about some of the things that he's gonna bring to our defense in that secondary this year. It's gonna be exciting.
In your opinion, what has been the most exciting receiver-cornerback matchup, whether it's one-on-ones or sevens?
Oh man, I love watching all of them, man. You know, I wish we did more one-on-ones. Coach B, I hope you're watching. But no, man, I think you know, every receiver that we got. So you're talking about a receiver group that is I think is pretty good. And they're a challenge every single day that we step out there. So there isn't a matchup out there that I'm like not wanting to see, you know. The biggest thing is making sure we practice the right way and take care of each other. But, you know, watching our receivers compete for the ball when it's in the air and the routes that they're running, I mean, and obviously the guy that's throwing the ball, he ain't too bad either. It's fun to watch, you know. So I love watching all of them. I wish I could choose one out of the bunch, but I love watching all those guys compete.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. You guys take care.